Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Shep and Reach. I'll be doing my mid-year book freakout tag. Before I get started, if you're new to this channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as the notification bell. And if you're new, hi, hello, I'm Stephanie and I love bookish content. But I am shocked that it is already that time of the year where we are rehashing all the books that we already read, plus what we're anticipating for the second half of the year. So as always, I have my 13 prompts over here. Let's just get right into it and let us know what I've been reading, what my favorite books are, etc, etc. The first question is best books I've read so far in 2023. I actually have two books for that. The first one is going to be Kai and the second one is Una Out of Order. They're both phenomenal reads. I read them earlier this year and have just been gushing about them since then. Kai is basically a retelling, or no, it's like an origin story of Kai. I don't know the original mythology surrounding this person, but this is the prequel of before she became the villain that everyone knows later on in the stories. I really enjoyed this book. It's a really fresh breath of air for me in terms of just a different mythology, different culture, etc. And I really enjoyed the writing, the story, the characters, which is phenomenal. And I'm happy to say that all the book club people who read it as well really enjoyed this book. So highly recommend this one. And then for Una Out of Order, it's basically about a 19-year-old girl, or I think she's 18, I forget. But like just when she's about to turn 18 or 19 years old, she kind of like faints and then wakes up at a different age, and now she ends up living life out of order, where every year on her birthday she somehow turns into a different age. So she turns into like 50, she goes into like 35, 47, 23, things like that. She's basically living life out of order. And as the story progresses, you find out a lot about what does it mean to love someone, what does it mean to have friendships, especially when you're living life so out of whack like that. And I was so invested with the person, the characters. Like, I was ready to watch an episode of like every single of her life. Like, I was so here for that. So if that sounds appealing, I highly recommend that book. And the second question is best sequel that I've read so far in 2023. I've read a couple of sequels that I enjoyed. I don't know which one's the best one per se, but I really enjoyed Finale. I also really enjoyed Wings of Shadow, Dragon's Promise, as well as Redemptor. They're all, now that I think about it, they're all like finale books, like the last book in the series. So Finale is the last book in the trilogy, Dragon's Promise is the final book in the duology, Redemptor is also the final book in the duology, and then Wings of Shadow was the final book in the trilogy. And honestly, love them all. Like I said, I can't really rate which one's better, but I do think that all of them did a really good job with finishing off the series, and I'm really happy that I read the series. The next prompt over here is a new release that you haven't read yet but you want to, and obviously this is one that everyone has been hyping up, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I did pick this up on my June TBR. I have not read it yet, but I'm really excited and I really cannot wait to dive into this. I plan to read this next, hopefully, so we'll see how that goes, but I've heard nothing but really amazing things, so I'm so here for it. The next question is most anticipated releases for the second half of the year. I believe by this time this video is up, I did do a most anticipated releases for the next quarter, so that is July, August, and September, which I will link above and down below in case you want to check that out. But in addition to those books, I'm also really excited for Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I believe this is her first book that is not part of the Shadowhunter series. Hopefully I am not wrong in that, but that's why I'm like super psyched for this book. Okay, I just double checked. Swordcatcher is in fact not part of the Shadowhunter world, so I'm really excited for this book. And from the comments I've read on Goodreads so far, it seems like a lot of people are really psyched because of that as well. Like the first book that the queen has written that is not part of the Shadowhunter world, like I'm so here for that, and it's me too, girl, me too. All right, then this next prompt over here is the most disappointed book that I read so far, and there's been quite a few disappointments, but I feel like this book in particular was most disappointing for me because I've heard so many amazing things, and I read it and it was honestly just a 2-star read for me. That being said though, I did read other books that were, I think, also 2 stars or even 2.5 stars, but this book was just the most disappointing because of all the hype that surrounded it, and that is Hooked. Guys, like I really thought this would be amazing, especially because I'm kind of in a smut phase as well these days where I'm just reading like really good smut, and this was not it, guys. Like I didn't care for the characters, I didn't care for the sex scenes, like the romance was very mediocre, like just not here for it in general. The next question over here is the biggest surprise of the year, and I have two over here. One is Una Out of Order, which like I said already, I loved. Definitely came as a surprise because I really haven't heard too many people talk about it. And then the second book over here is The Huntress. I haven't read any good historical fictions recently, so I picked it up kind of thinking I was going to DNF it or give it a low rating. It didn't have much expectations, but it blew me by how good it was with the characters, like the back and forth, the timelines as well, and just like figuring out like what's really happening. I think what's really stood out to me also is that it's not just a historical fiction, but it also has like a mystery element to it too. So you always kind of figure out like who is behind it, who is this person, like what is happening here, and it just gave it a level of like anticipation that I was not expecting. So I was super hooked on it. Next question over here is a favorite new author, and this can either be a debut author or a new to you author. For this one, I'm going to go with Vaishnav Patel. I'm really hoping I pronounced her name correctly. She is the author who wrote Kaikei. That's her debut book, and I loved it. I cannot wait to see what more she will have in the future for us, because that book was just gold. Like, it was so good. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure she's just a college student too. So if she's writing like that when she's still a college student, like either she's a college student or like a recent grad or something along those lines, like early 20s, like the fact that she's writing a book to that caliber, like I am really excited to see what else she has in store for us in her career. Next question over here is newest fictional crush. I don't usually have one, but if I had to pick one, it would be Dante from the Caraval series. I don't know, but like I'm not, okay, sometimes I like the bad boy vibes, but like these days that's not really for me. But for some reason Dante like really strokes that like bad boy like thing I want, and I don't know, but like he would be a fictional crush if I had to choose one. The next question over here is newest favorite character. Surprisingly, I don't really have one. I went through all the books I read this year, and while I enjoyed a lot of the characters, none of them really stood out to me like, oh my god, amazing. So I don't really have one per se this time. The next question is a book that made you cry. As always, I don't really cry in books, so unfortunately that is none of them. Then the next question is a book that made you happy. Honestly, the entire fairy tale series have made me very happy. Just reading it, I've been smiling and giggling every time I flip the pages because of all the antics and the drama that happens, and it's just so much good fun. So yeah, it's definitely a series that just makes me feel really happy overall. Then this next question is most beautiful books that I've bought or received so far, and I have 3 that are just stunning. This first one over here is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is in the Fairy Loot edition. Just look at this. Like, this is stunning. And then I have another one, which is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. Like, look at this. Like, this is such a, like, you can't tell me this is not stunning. Like, I'm so excited for this book. And then of course I cannot not include this, and that is The Stolen Heir. I don't care much for this part, but the inside, guys, like this part is stunning, and I can't wait to dive into this book soon. And the last question, of course, is which books I plan to read for the rest of the year, or which books do I want to finish by the end of the year. And obviously I have my 23 books I want to read in 2023, as well as my 5-star predictions video. So the 2 lists that I'm really trying to tackle, and the 2 highlights I have from those lists is Bloodmarked, which is the sequel to Legendborn, and I love that book, so I cannot wait to dive into this one. And of course The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. Cannot wait to start off with a new series and hopefully get some glimpses from Jude and Carden. So anyways, these are the questions and my responses to this midyear book freakout tag. I'm really hoping that the rest of the year will be amazing reads for me, because I feel like I had some amazing reads this year already, but I do feel like I want more. So here's hoping for more better reads. But as always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. It really does help my channel. And if you'd like to see more content of me, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as the notification bell. And as always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.